Hey retro fans, welcome to another episode of Retro Gaming Memories. In this episode, as you will have seen by the title, we are going to modify one of these, the Dreamcast. Now, retro gaming's a funny old thing because I used to have a Dreamcast and a pretty good Dreamcast collection. But when I moved into the house I'm in now, I sold off a lot of stuff, and I had my fun with the Dreamcast. Basically, I wasn't playing it much. It had seen its purpose. I'd never owned one back in the day. I remember when they were launched in 1999. I worked in PC World at the time, and I remember when they came out and thinking it was a little bit underwhelming compared to what else was available. But we used to play some of the games, after hours in the store and all that kind of stuff, and I quite liked it. And then, a few years later, Dreamcasts were remarkably cheap. And if you've watched any of my other videos, especially the Dreamcast one, there was an arcade game that I loved called Ferrari F355 Challenge. And it was announced it was coming out on the PlayStation 2. And I remember going into game back in the day when I was a poor lad. I really didn't have that much disposable income. I'm saying a poor lad. I was working at the time. I was in my 20s, but I had a house and all the kind of usual expenses and stuff. I didn't have a lot of disposable income. Anyway, I went into game, and it was actually in Buchanan Street, in the Buchanan Galleries in Glasgow. I remember it. And going in, there was a game store inside Debenhams, bizarrely. And I went in and went and had a look, and they had Ferrari F355 Challenge on the PlayStation 2, and it was just out, and it was $39.99. But next to it, they had a pre-owned Sega Dreamcast with 2 controllers and any 3 games for 25 quid. And one of the games was Ferrari F355 Challenge. That was easy to say, wasn't it? F355 Challenge. There were no chives involved. But yeah, so basically I plumped. I thought, I've never had one of these, but I looked at the graphics on the back of both games, and I thought, this doesn't look that far off the PS2. I'm just going to get this. It makes sense. I'm going to get a new console, new toy to play with. Opens up a lot of possibilities. It's a Sega game on a Sega console. It's bound to be the best version. So that was my kind of introduction to Dreamcast. I can't even remember the other games I got. It was F355 Challenge, I think Virtua Tennis 2, and I'm buggered if I can remember what the last one was. But it kind of kindled my love of the Dreamcast, and I did really enjoy having the console. And Ferrari Challenge was brilliant, and playing it with the steering wheel and that was great. And I've since got the PlayStation 2 version of it, which is great. The differences are the PS2 version is basically arcade perfect, apart from it doesn't support 3 monitors. The arcade game was huge. The Dreamcast version, it's cut down. What does it do? I think you can get an in-car view in the Dreamcast. It's been ages since I've played it. But there's differences between the PS2 version and the Dreamcast version, but the Dreamcast version is a very good version. I think when you drop to in-car version in the Dreamcast, it's just the road and the dials. I don't think there's any actual car rendered, whereas I think the PS2 renders the car. Can't remember. Not important. Nothing at all to do with this. Anyway, that was my intro to the Dreamcast. So like I say, I sold the Dreamcast, and that was fine, and I hadn't really thought of it at all until the other day there. I was round at my mate Alan's house, Mainmeister, as you may know him, and we were having a look at some of the bits and bobs in his collection, and we sat and we played some games, and we played, what was it, Darius 5, I think it was, on the PS2, which was very good. And we started talking. I can't remember why we started talking about the Dreamcast, but Alan had the GDEmu, basically the SD card for the Dreamcast. And I said, oh, that sounds interesting, that's all very good. So we fired it up and we had a shot, played some games, and I thought, this is terribly good. And then I had a look, and the original GDEmu later, the GDEmu card was like $150. I was like, oh, no. No thanks. But it was intriguing, and like any of these things with me, I'm really bad for if there's a little seed planted, it'll just sit and niggle away, and then it will grow into an idea, and then it just becomes stupid. So fast forward a couple of weeks, I'm on Facebook asking if anybody's selling a Dreamcast, which they were. So yeah, did a deal, got the Dreamcast, had a look, and got a GDEmu card, the SD card, thingy-me-bob. Bought an SD card, bought a a SCART lead for the Dreamcast, and all that kind of gubbins. Started downloading some Dreamcast ROMs. So the GDEmu board, the original one, I don't think is manufactured anymore. You can get them, I think, on eBay, but they're still very expensive. But there are Chinese clones. In fact, let me grab it. I've got it off. Excuse me. I've got it off camera here. Let's put the Dreamcast down so I don't drop it. So yeah, this is the GDEmu, I think it was 5.15 board. There it is. So this is the Chinese equivalent. There it is. It's all very exciting. That's the bit that plugs into where your laser is, I think. So yeah, and that was 50 quid, I think it was. And apparently it's just as compatible as the original one. It's going to be as compatible as I need it to be, hopefully. But yeah, so I bought the board, got the Dreamcast, got my cable, whole lot came in at under 100 quid. Now I fired up the Dreamcast, excuse me, I don't have any Dreamcast games anymore, but I fired it up, the controller seems to work okay, put in an audio CD and that ran okay. So the Dreamcast itself works. So I'm going to take the laser out and keep that safe. That's the good thing about this, it's a non-destructive mod. So if I want to put the Dreamcast back to how it was, easy enough to do. So that being said, why don't we just drop in and do the actual mod? Yeah, let's do that. Right, here we go then. So we've got the Dreamcast set up. So I'm going to kind of wing this a little bit. I've watched a couple of videos on how to do it. One important thing is your Dreamcast needs to be a model 1. So if it says 1 here, you should be okay. If it says anything else, the card isn't going to work. So the first thing to do is to fight with this, is to get the modem out, because there's a screw under there. So let's see what we can do. Just chat amongst yourselves. Okay. So now we've got the 4 screws off. I believe that this all just lifts off. Doesn't want to come off at the back, why not? There we go. So another mod I'm going to do at some point is to swap that guy out, and that's a rechargeable battery. It's soldered in there. I'm going to swap it out and put in a rechargeable, whatever it is, ML something. So I believe there are 3 screws, this one, and excuse me leaning in front of the camera, there's one in here. So let's do that first. You can stare at my bald patch while I do this. Another thing to check if you buy a Dreamcast and you want to do this mod is that compatibles, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but that says 3.3 volts there. That's another good indicator that this is all heading in the right direction. So I believe this just lifts out now. Might be easier said than done. I'm just being very careful of the whole thing. A little bit stuck on that back corner. There we go, so the whole unit just lifts out in a winner. So that there is where the drive connected. I thought it was going to be a ribbon cable, but it's not. So let's plonk that to the side for now. Now I believe this just basically plugs in there and jobs are good, but there's a couple of things. Obviously this board is going to go this side down because that clips into there, but it does leave it kind of wobbling a little bit. So I don't have any feet at the moment. So the recommended fix in Sinclair Spectrum wobble RAM pack fashion is to use Blue Tack. I think the thing will be solid enough. It's just to use this to give it a little bit of you know, something to sit on. So I'm just going to put a little sausage. There's nothing on this board there. It's where the feet would go. I'm just going to put a little sausage of Blue Tack, which is roughly the same height as that guy, and it should be okay. So let's just see if we can sit that in there. There we go. Blue Tack's doing its job. Feels good. So there's another mod you can do as well. Because there's no laser drawing power now from the Dreamcast power supply, you can use resistors. You can bridge something in here. I can't quite remember what it is, but you bridge some of that to kind of restrict the power going through it. It's not a killer by any means. You know, you can get away without doing it. So for now, that's me done. We've swapped that out. Job's a good one. Now what we could do actually is, will we test it? No, let's just trust it. So our SD card is in properly. I have to say, it's a very simple mod to do this, but one of the biggest pains in the ass was setting up that SD card. And it wasn't even really setting it up, it was downloading all the ROMs and unzipping them because they're in multi-part RAR archives and all that kind of crap. And they have to be in GDI or CDI format. So some of them that I've downloaded are in bin and Q format, and you can't use that. So I'm going to have to find a way to convert them or re-download the ROMs. But there is a thing, if you do get this, check around for GDEmu SD, I think it is. I'll put a link in the show notes, in the description if I remember. Because there's an application, it's Windows only, but there's an application that you can get that basically sets your card up for you, because there's a thing called GDEmu that this boots into to show you all the games that's on your SD card. But they have to be in particular formats and all that kind of stuff. So doing it manually is a pain in the arse. But if you use this application, it's a lot easier, and I'll give it its due once I've actually got the ROMs and all that kind of unzipped and set up and ready to go. It was dead easy. So there you go, there's one light Dreamcast, and of course when you open it up you can still access the SD card if you wanted to take that out. You can get 3D printed trays that sit in here to stop you exposing the guts of the Dreamcast and make it a bit prettier. I may partake in that at some point. For now, I'm happy with it as is. So why don't we head on over to the TV, we'll plug this in and see if it works. Okay, here we go then. You can see me reflecting in the TV. Let's turn it on and hopefully it won't go bang. So here we go, turning on. Fans kicked in. That's fun then, isn't it? Alright, I had a little play around, I was panicking slightly there, and then noticed I hadn't plugged my SCART lead in properly. So yeah, stupid arse. I gave it a quick boot to check, and it looks like it's working okay, so here we go. We'll boot it on camera so you can see what happens. My TV defaults to 16:9, so there we go. Oh, flickermungus. Hopefully that'll sort it out a bit better. Right, there we go. So this is GDEmu, which is nice. Now, I haven't done anything, so where it says there region free VGA patched, yes, you can. One thing about this GDEmu software, the SD maker, is you can patch stuff to have VGA compatibility. You can make it region free if it's region locked and all that kind of stuff. Now, all I've done is put the menu on. I haven't done anything else. So we've got GDEmu. That's always got to be slot number 1 in your game list. And then I've put on some other bits and bobs. So I don't know, they're all saying region free. There's nothing region locked there. So, so if I press X for menu, I've no idea what that does. Let's have a look at options. Boot intro. Alright, that's quite cool. What's this info? There we go. So that was the menu. So I've just put on 10 games, as you can see. Oh, that's nice. I didn't put that image on. I don't know where it's pulled that from, unless it's part of the ROM. I don't know. But then Virtua Tennis 2. So I didn't put any of these disc images on, so I don't know where it's getting them from. But it's quite a nice thing. I'm not too bothered about it, to be honest. But let's have a look at Daytona, because it's a classic, and see what it's like. So just pressed A on the controller, see what it does. Sorry about that flicker there, but hopefully it'll sort itself out in a little minute. Hasbro Interactive. I don't remember Hasbro doing Daytona. Yeah, I don't need a VMU, whatever. Yes, okay. There we go, Daytona. Just have a quick play. Yeah, Hornet's fine by me. Race start.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Don't know if you'll be able to hear that okay. The load times are pretty good as well, obviously, because it's running off a card, so. I'm better at Daytona in the arcade than I am. Oh, maybe. Anyway, we'll just pause that there. I think there is a way to get back to menu, like the SD card menu, but that was a guess. Did that work? So I pressed all 4 controller buttons, A, B, X, Y and start, and it rebooted the Dreamcast. I don't know if that's standard feature actually. I'm not sure, but that'll take you back to the menu. There we go. So let's just try something else quickly. So the good thing is there's obviously no loading times, or very little loading times, so any games that are going to take a while, let's go for 60 Hz. English is fine. Okay. Click everything. Yes. Start. I've no idea what I'm doing in this game. Alright, there we go. One thing I've just noticed is that my controller, the analog stick, isn't going up or down. Yeah. Anyway, what I'm going to do is just check how hot the Dreamcast's running. Not at all. So let's shut you up for a minute. Yeah. So all in all, jolly good. Let's see if we can bring that up there. Let's just pop the camera down there. There we go. So there's the Dreamcast, as you can see. It's not running hot at all. Cool air blowing out of there. It's all good. And you can obviously open and close, because there is no disc in there obviously now. So that's it. Job's a good one. So that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. I'm going to go and put some more games on my SD card. Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the usual guff, and I shall see you next time. Bye.